All right, guys, this is one of my best friends in the game. He captures the hearts of minds of generations of MMA fans every time he steps in there. And now we have a date. We have an opponent. UFC 313. The man is back against Justin Gaethje, and we are excited. Dan the Hangman Hooker, welcome to Submission Radio, man. What a great day to have you on the program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hey, what about these crazy fights just this past weekend? I got to get your thoughts. What was your reaction when you saw this whole commotion with Arman being out with a back injury, Moicano stepping in basically last second? The whole thing was a bit wild.
That's our sport, brother. It's always it's never smooth sailing. Yeah, how you get injured on your day off? I got no idea. It's pretty. Yeah, I thought it was pretty strange, bro, to get such a severe injury that you need to pull out when you're cutting weight. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, no one goes into fights healthy. Everyone's been injured. You've stepped in last second yourself. It must have been pretty bad, right?
Yeah, like it must be a pretty severe injury, but to like your world titles, your absolute everything. I don't know how you would pass up on that opportunity. And yeah, like I obviously saw Dana White just say that he ain't getting the title shot next, and he's going to have to work his way back up to the belt. You know, Daddy can't buy you a backbone, can he?
I'll tell you. Well, first he was offered the fight with Islam. It was a bit too short notice for him. Now he's gotten the notice, and obviously the back injury. It must be pretty severe, but like, who do you even give Arman at this point? He wants Charles Oliveira again, but I mean, they just fought recently. Does that make sense?
I'd say it'd be pretty hard to get someone to sign on the dotted line against Arman if he's going to do that. And I don't think that the UFC would even kind of penalize anyone for kind of passing that off. You put in all that work, like at our level, it's not cheap to run a training camp. It's not cheap to fly your whole team out to prepare for a fight, just to have the rug pulled out from you at that shorter notice. So I think it'd be pretty hard to get anyone to agree to fight him. I think he might just have to move his way down the list.
Mm. What did you make of Islam taking Moicano and sort of subbing him so quickly in this one? Were you surprised at all? Did you know it was going to go down like that when you saw those guys were going to be matching up in the main event?
Oh, like obviously credit to Moicano. Oh, the amount of people that messaged me telling me that I should be calling Moicano a turtle in the tree now. Like, who's the turtle in the tree? But no, like credit to him for stepping out for the plate. Like, I know me and Moicano go back and forth now and then, but I was he's getting his opportunity. It's cool to see a kid get his opportunity and step up to the plate and back himself going into there. And certainly I don't tend to kick people when they're down. That's not what I do. I kick people when they're standing up, brother.
Dude, that's another t-shirt right there. Every time you come on the show, there's a t-shirt that gets sprayed. Someone from Engage is in the design room like, all right, t-shirt. What about Islam, man? Obviously taking Moicano as well. He looked good. To you, is he the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC right now?
I just don't think pound for pound's a thing. I don't believe in, like we're just having a fantasy. Well, like we're getting lost in a fantasy conversation at that point. Pound for pound is just not a thing, in my opinion. If we can't shrink someone and make someone bigger, pound for pound is whoever's the heavyweight champ. That's who the pound for pound. Because if you lock John Jones and Islam Makhachev in a cage, John Jones tears him to shreds.
Do we get Demetrius Johnson, put him in one of those machines and put him up to super heavyweight and see how he does? Super heavyweight Demetrius Johnson.
It's such a non it's such a non-discussion because obviously the fights change with the weight classes. Obviously, Demetrius Johnson, like if he was 120 kilos, he wouldn't move the way that he moves. Like it's a completely asinine discussion, I think.
Mm. Well, let me ask you this: do you think Islam's far off from sort of taking Khabib's mantle as the best 155 champion in UFC history? How much more do you think he has to do to sort of take that?
I think it's like two heads of the same beast. I don't think it's yeah, like getting in. It's like going back and forth between the two, but it's like Islam is like is still like they're part of the same myth. Like that's the biggest thing about stepping in and fighting them, and I think like Moicano would have realized that is it's like more the myth of it, more than anything. That's why they keep like their team so close knit. It's like any success, like it becomes like it becomes larger than life. It's not when you step in there and you actually fight them, and then you're like, yeah, I fell for the trick, and I'm fighting the myth, not the man. And if you just focus on the man, then the task becomes a lot more controllable and a lot simpler.
Are you hoping he hangs around, man, in the division? Because I want to see this rematch. I want to see you get a full camp in. You've already been in there with him once. You just what you mentioned. It's you can put the myth aside and fight the man. Do you hope you get this chance to rematch him before he goes up to 170, or it doesn't really matter to you and it's whoever's the champ at the time?
Yeah, going up to 170, bro.
Nah, you don't think so? You don't think so?
Nah, I don't think so. Did Khabib ever go up to 170? Did Khabib ever fight at 170? Like he talked about it for.
The only thing with Islam is like the guy's so big.
They're gonna talk about it. They're gonna talk about it for half a decade, but they're not.
So you don't think so? I think it's the weight cut that's killing him, and also I think he.
And Ronda Rousey was gonna beat the men in the bantamweight division. Like, don't believe like it's drinking the Kool-Aid. That's not gonna happen.
All right. So now that we're dispelling myths, are you pumped for an opportunity to potentially rematch Islam now with the proper training camp? I think you're not far off now, man. Obviously, Justin Gaethje's next. We're about to talk about him, but this could be
obviously
matchup right
here. Yeah, number that puts you on a 4-fight win streak. And number 3, that you're definitely in the conversation for a title shot. And yeah, the UFC know that if anyone's going to take that fight, it's me. I'd love an opportunity to get that one back, definitely.
A man that's not going to pull out, a man that's not going to pull out.
I got 2 kids. I'm never pulling out.
Yeah. I was going to say it, but I didn't want to mention it. But not in the UFC. Dude, this Justin Gaethje fight, UFC 313. I love this fight. Obviously, it's the worst kept secret in UFC matchmaking history. And every time I get you on, though, I
had no fucking idea. Like I saw him talk about it.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I think I legitimately didn't hear about it till like Friday last week. Like I saw it, and then he'd talked about it like a week before. I was like, yeah, and then just spoke to the because I was like we were asking the UFC. We were going. I asked a week before that. I heard about it. Like, oh, is there a date? Oh, we'll let you know. And then I see Justin Gaethje talking about it, and then I was like, I was a bit confused. But then, they just gave me the old, oh, didn't we tell you? But that's like, I take it as kind of a compliment. So they knew I was going to take it anyway. So that's why even tell the guy.
So was it always supposed to be Justin Gaethje? Because I know Ali was on this program a while back, and he was already sort of targeting you to fight Justin Gaethje. We had a fun back and forth about you on the program.
That's been the fight that's the UFC has wanted to match. Like everyone agreed like a long time ago that kind of was the fight. The UFC wanted it. They knew the fans would want it, and both of our teams were pulling for the fight. So it kind of all the stars aligned.
How come Charles Oliveira was never actually made, do you think? Like, that's another great fight. Would make a lot of sense. It- Is there a reason why I think it just never ended up coming together? Like, after the fact,
Well,
yeah.
as far as I was aware, that fight with Chandler was like whoever they kind of promised whoever was going to win that fight the next title shot. So
Hmm.
like if you've just fought and been promised the title shot, you don't have to go back and then defend your title shot.
So we're busting myths here. There will be no Ilya Tapura Charles Oliveira fight.
Oh, cat, bro. Cat. I did hear that they were trying to they wanted to put Volkan Ilya on the card as well, but Ilya said he needs 6 months to make weight or something. I'm like, bro, what?
What kind of meal plan is he on?
What kind of weight? What kind of yeah? I'm like,
He needs to link up with Geordie, right? Like,
he needs to eat a salad every now and then or something, bro.
Spanish tapas. All right. What about Justin Gaethje, dude? UFC 313. How do you like that date? Obviously, you just learned about it very recently. Are you happy with that card? Were you hoping it was going to be a little later? I know you're waiting for the big arrival of the new baby, Denisa, or what? Denise Cece, or whatever we were going to call her.
Denisetta?
Denisetta. Is that good for you? Is that timing wise good for you? Because you're looking in shape, man. I'm seeing the videos online. You're looking like you're ready to rock.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, bro, like that's what fighters do. It is what it is. Um, like life is life. Living it like as a fighter at the highest level, you can't just put your life on hold and stuff like that. You just have to you roll with the punches, man. That's just what you got to do. I'm not gonna. Yeah, like this is the way that I provide for my family and feed my family. So it's kind of counterreactive to then not fight and provide for your family to, yeah, we go around in circles. So yeah, it should be.
You're saying it feels weird because you're like, look, I want to be active, I want to be doing stuff. It's a part of my career, but you're also waiting on this date. So it's like you don't want to overcook the chicken, but at the same time, you want to be ready to go. And it's also part of what you do, right? Like it's your career, it's your profession. So it's a
Yeah,
weird thing
like
to
oh,
balance. Like you
it
can't,
should
yeah.
be. I should have a new baby, and then 4 weeks later, be stepping in the cage with Justin Gaethje. If all goes right, it didn't go well. It didn't go too well the last time I did it. That was the Edson Barboza. Was my daughter was 4 weeks before I got my ass kicked by Edson Barboza. So I've learned from my last rodeo. I remember saying it back then, like I'm not going to do that again, and then here we are doing it again.
Was it the excitement of having a new baby, the lack of sleep, the fact that you it could kick your ass sometimes? Haven't was that it, or what was it about that Edson Barbosa build up that kind of didn't give you
Nah,
the optimal?
I just legitimately didn't think about it. Like it's just not like there was the birth of my first daughter. It just I wasn't even thinking about it's in Barboza. It didn't even like you focus. The human mind focuses on the most important thing in your life at that period in time. And the most important thing at that period of time was focusing on my first daughter's birth and bringing it into the world safely. So Edson Barboza was the second thought, and then I having a new baby for 3 weeks, and then going away for fight week. Yeah, I just kind of just stepped in the cage, and I was like, "Oh, that's right, I'm fighting Edson Barboza." Just hadn't thought about it, bro.
I feel like if I had a second kid, it wouldn't be as stressful. Like for the first one, I was stressed out. It was during COVID with all these complications, and I was like, dude,
Yeah, obviously,
I
like
need
things
like a
are
few
a lot
months to
more.
recover from this. I felt like I was like half a man for like at least 4 weeks after that. So
Yeah, well,
exhausted.
that was it, bro. It was I hadn't slept for 3 weeks, so then I got to fight week, and I slept for a week straight, bro. I've been up for 3 weeks, so I was in fight week, just slept the whole week,
Yeah,
and
man.
then yeah, then just woke up in the cage like, oh, that's right, I'm fighting into my Barboza. I haven't thought about it. How do I do this? I was like, all right.
You mentioned that, when you hear music, you dance, you move. Have you thought much about this Justin Gaethje matchup? I mean, this is a fight that we've been speaking about wanting to see for a long time. It's one of those it's one of those fights that fans are like, ideal matchup, dream matchup. This is the fight. Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje. Now we get it. But how often have you thought about, all right, when I actually fight this guy, this is what I'm going to do? Have you had a chance to break him down yet? Or are you still going to take your time and sort of do that a little later, closer to 313?
Yeah, I like the fight. Yeah, he's like a very technically sound fighter. Yeah, good. He's by the book. You know what I mean? He kind of runs off. He just reads from the textbook. Yeah, I like the way he fights. I'm a Justin Gaethje fan, and yeah, obviously appreciate him taking this fight. Obviously, but it's a dangerous fight for him. So I respect him for accepting this fight. When I feel like there would have been easier fights for him out there. So credit to him and his team.
He's one of those guys that when he comes into that octagon, sometimes maybe, you know, he kind of throws everything but the kitchen sink at his opponent, and sometimes some of the technique goes out the window. What kind of Justin Gaethje do you think we'll see against you? Do you think we'll see a more reserved Justin Gaethje after what happened with Max Holloway? Do you think he goes back to a wild Justin Gaethje because he knows you guys will just meet in the middle and just go at it? Or maybe he expects you to. Or do you think we'll see a different version of Justin Gaethje, maybe tries to utilize, I don't know, his wrestling and surprise everybody? Imagine that. Imagine you're the guy that he does that against.
How long's a piece of string, mate? It's as long. Anything could happen. It's a mixed martial arts fight, and yeah, obviously you see people just like, yeah, like he's a very technical fighter. He's a real technician on the feet. He's a very textbook fighter. He's got some beautiful counters, some beautiful leads, and yeah, I think his skill is often underestimated by a lot of fans, which I feel like as is mine. Yeah, it's more like I know full well that it's two fighters that in there that are either going to win or they're going to go out on the shield. They're going to die trying. There's two fighters that step in there prepared to die and have accepted that and who are at peace with that. That's why the fans are so excited for this fight. That's why I'm excited for this fight. So it's I either win or I go out swinging. That's the two ways that this ends.
All right, guys, it's time for a new year and a new you, thanks to our friends at MANSCAPED. Have you sorted all the best products to get you looking good downstairs and all over your body in 2025? Performance Package 5.0 Ultra by MANSCAPED is your secret weapon for stepping into 2025 sharp, clean, and confident. Don't be the guy that rolls into January looking like you just emerged from hibernation. Let the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, the Weed Whacker 2.0 handle your overgrowth so you can focus on leveling up. Start 2025 with precision, because the only thing that should be growing this year is your success and not your scruff. Join the 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Use the code word submission now. Keep this show going. Get 20% off and free shipping today. Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the all-in-one grooming kit. Of course, I mentioned it before, but I'll say it again. Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is the best tool you could have. It also comes with the Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer. Full aftercare, which helps you treat yourself right with the crop soother, and the crop preserver keeps you fresh and comfortable and confident, so you're always ready to move forward. And you get some free gift. Kick off the year with a bonus that elevates your routine. The Boxers 2.0, which I love to wear. They're one of the most comfortable boxers you can wear. And the Shed 2.0 toiletry bag, which I take with me everywhere I go. Manscaped has a 30-day money-back guarantee as well, so you can try it risk-free right now. Use the code word submission. Go right now, 20% off and free shipping. And I just want to talk to you guys about SAILY as well. SAILY is an unbelievable app that's going to change the game forever when it comes to travel, and you want to be covered with your phone. Forget lining up at airports and having to get a new SIM, taking your SIM out, keeping it in a little baggie, making sure you don't lose it. Forget all of that. SAILY has you sorted. All you got to do is download the app, choose the amount that you want to spend, what country you want to go to, and boom, like that, you are sorted. I just went to New Zealand. I was absolutely covered. I didn't want to spend the $10 or $20 or $30 a day that I was going to have to spend because of my provider. I put in an amount, it had me covered the entire time, and I even still have data left over because it was so smooth and easy. One of the things I love about SAILY as well that you may not realize is it actually comes with an ad blocker. So if you are watching videos or doing stuff on the internet, why waste your data on ads? The ad blocker has you sorted, and it comes with web protection as well. You know, malware on your device is the last thing you need on your travels. And SAILY gets you sorted and protected too. So why not jump on right now, use the code word submission, get 15% off. All you gotta do is download the app, choose your destination, where you wanna go, the amount of money you wanna spend, activate it on your phone without having to take out your SIM card, without having to line up at airports, without having to re-sign different documents. SAILY has you sorted, whether you need a little bit of data or a lot of data, whatever your plan is, SAILY has you covered wherever you go in the world. Go on right now, check out the app. It's the most seamless and easiest process when it comes to travel eSIMs that you can experience. Use the code word submission, 15% off. Jump on right now. What are you waiting for? Grab your SAILY today. If you're traveling tomorrow, next month, get it sorted today. Use the code word submission while it's still active. It's 15% off. SAILY.com/submission gets you sorted. Try it today, whether it's a lot of data, small amount of data, SAILY has you sorted. Easy, seamless, highly recommended. Now back to the program. As a fighters in the sense that when you guys walk into the room, everyone just has unbelievable respect for the careers that both of you guys have had. Also, I feel like not since Dustin Poirier, Paul Felder, you've kind of had this matchup where it's like, all right, two guys are going in there. These guys are all about, you know what I mean? And it's gonna be absolute fireworks. How's the training camp been for this one, man? I saw shared some footage of you guys sparring on his Instagram. Looks like the banter's happening. Obviously, he's got his big fight over in Saudi with Imavov. How's the camp been? Obviously, alongside him getting ready for his big return as well. That's a bit of banter happening, right?
There was always banter. We always talk shit. There's a lot of fighting in between that, though. That's just a couple of snippets. But yeah, the gym's absolutely humming. With the repo, obviously, over here. He was training with the boys. Volk's over here at the moment. He's getting some work in with the lads. So no, the gym's absolutely buzzing. Obviously, Carlos Olberg's got a big fight coming up against Blachowicz. So gym's absolutely humming.
Dude, it's unbelievable. Like the team is poised for another massive year. How do you think this Israel Imavov fight goes, right? Because we're in an interesting position with where he's not fighting a title contender, but Imavov, man, he's far from like an easy fight. He's a guy that maybe people don't know as much, but it's a huge fight nevertheless. How do you think this one goes for
Israel's going to smash him. No, I've never actually seen that guy fight before in my life. So.
All respect to Imavov, man, but a lot of people like, who's that? Like, yeah. They're like, Imavov? Are you surprised? Is this kind of like, yeah?
I couldn't tell you what color his hair was, bro. But he's gonna smash him.
He's gonna smash him. All right. Do you think you see? Do you think we see a second DDP fight with Izzy if he goes in there, beats Imavov? DDP goes through Sean Strickland. I mean, we've got Hamza out there, but do you think Izzy comes back and fights DDP again down the track, or do you think it's just a fun time to be an Izzy fan because you just get to see him match up with fun fights, and it's not really about the title because he's proven so much throughout his career?
I feel like, the title is always going to be on what his mind is locked onto. He gets his hand raised, it'll be hard to deny him. A title shot, whether that's whoever's next, either it's him or Hamza next. And then I think, like, if Hamza's next, then Izzy will fight Hamza or the winner of that fight. Or it'll be DDP and Izzy, and then Hamza fights the winner of that fight. But yeah, I don't think we have to see Izzy, like, a title eliminator between Izzy and Hamza. I just think whoever's, either one of them's next, and then the other one's the fight after that.
You think it's going to be DDP who comes out on top over Strickland in Sydney?
Mm,
It's an interesting fight.
close. Could have gone either way. The last one, so it'll be hard to see. Just a dogfight. There's two, respect to both of those boys. They got some skills. It's going to be absolute dogfight. Yeah, that's a great fight for. A lot of them got a pretty big fan base. So I know, like being over there and seeing Strickland in action, like when he whacked on that bloody Outback hat, when he whacked on his hat, on his Australian hat, the crowd loved it, bro. Like he's got a pretty big fan base there in Australia.
Almost took out a fan, punched him. We'll see how many fans he punches on this one. Dude, are you going to be there, by the way, in Sydney, or are you going to be deep in training camp for this one?
Nah, I got baby on. What's that? That fight's on the 9th?
It is, yeah.
And then my due date's the 10th, so I will be
saying this
firmly.
We'll be like, all right, Dan's on the flight. He's on the flight. He's on the flight.
My feet will be firmly on New Zealand soil on that date.
Hey, before we wrap, man, the biggest channel in MMA where everybody needs to subscribe is your daughter's new YouTube channel, man. You guys are crushing it. She's already got more sponsors than me. She's already generating more revenue than most MMA channels. Tell us a little bit about this and what's coming up. Apparently, she's working to get your name off the show. Doesn't want to split.
Nah, she is. She had pulled me aside quite a word, Dad, because I put it as the Zoey and Dan Hooker, like it's the Zoey and Dan Hooker show, and she goes, Dad, can you take your name? Can you actually take your name off? She just wants to, and I respect that. I like that player one energy. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. I'll teach that girl to fish. She can feed my retirement. That's mine. But no, it's just a cool thing that me and my daughter can kind of do together. Her friends love it. They're absolutely buzzing, and it's just something cool that yeah. I'll keep doing it because she just keeps nagging me about it. It's really not my idea, bro. And really, my editing skills need some serious work, but I'll do it for her. It's funny that like if people want to get in touch with me and they're like, "Hey Dan, we got the sponsorship for you," like I just completely ignore it. But if they're like, "Hey Dan, I want to sponsor you and Zoe's show," I'm just like, I'll write back straight away and like actually respond to it. So the way to get at me is through my heart, and my heart is my daughter, my friend.
So make sure to subscribe to it. The Zoey and Dan Hooker show, formerly known as now just the Zoey Hooker show.
She want to call it Adventure. The actual channel is Adventure Kids.
Love it.
But Adventure Kids was taken, so I would set it like it's KUDS, so Kids. That's how New Zealand. It's how New Zealanders say it anyway. So we got the Adventure Kids challenge channel.
Dude, you're starting an empire. Those kids channels, by the way, are like in the millions of views. So I think you're moving into a better area than MMA broadcast.
It ain't my channel, Baba.
True.
I can't do anything without her authorization.
Send through all your sponsorship requests to Dan. He's taking offers. Dan Hooker.
I'm just their manager. That's all I am.
Dan Hooker, congratulations, man. You've got a massive Feb March ahead of you. Shout out to the missus, shout out to your daughter, and shout out to your UFC 313 that goes down. Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje. Dreams do come true. I can't wait for it, man.
Thank you, brother.